next 2 weeks, we have a whole bunch of different things. Like I've kind of vaguely explained a lot of our stuff, if not all of it is brand new. The only things that wouldn't be brand new are skills that they're doing. So things such, just for examples, things like pivot turns, if we're doing any handstands, if we're doing any actual skills, obviously the skills don't ever really change, so those won't. But the drills that we're doing are different, and we have not done them before. Some of the conditioning exercises they're doing will also be brand new. I'm going to demonstrate all of them, that way it's easy to understand so you can see it. I may, depending on how tomorrow goes, on Tuesday pull some of my kids aside and have them demonstrate also, just so you can see, you know, maybe if we need to move the bar for a specific height of kid, if your kids are like the size of, you know, maybe Emmy, who's super small, or, you know, the size of Kalina, you know, making it a different height and seeing what works. That way you can kind of go in and look and see. But if we're not really having any issues with it, then I won't do that. But we'll see how tomorrow goes. So I'm gonna go over everything and then I'll demonstrate all the stations. So on the low bar, beginner will jump to straddle, fall on bottom on the 4-inch mat. It's behind me over there. Intermediate will jump to squat and then stand up and balance. There's no 4-inch. So if any time you have an intermediate class and you know that that's coming up, and there was a class before you that wasn't intermediate or advanced, so any of the beginner classes, could you just make sure that we put the 4-incher back where it goes during that class period? That way, if we need it, if anybody else needs it, it's right there. And we don't have to come walking in the middle of class to get something that's not being used. That way it's just less distracting for your kids too, and for us, and all of that fun stuff. So if you do have an intermediate or an advanced class, you can go put that away when you come out and check to see if everything's set up the way you need it to be. That would be wonderful. And then advanced will do, they're gonna raise the bar, so however you see fit, and do cast squat-ons. Again, no 4-incher, so they just high enough to where they can kick underneath and not have to worry about smacking their feet. It doesn't need to be super duper high. On one of the medium bars, they're gonna do tuck swings in a chin up, pull over attempts. Please spot those if needed. And then advanced will do cast back hip circle into a candle shape. So back hip circle and a half, pretty much. So stopping them where they should still be passing through at the bottom. That way they feel, if they're not passing through this shape, or at least feel it a little bit, they know that they're not gonna make it over. The next medium bar is bungee cast with a bungee behind the legs. So they're gonna have to get up in front support and then stick one leg through and then the other leg through. That way it's kind of hard for them to kick backwards. Everyone's doing that one just because it will never hurt, and even though it may be slightly easier for some kids, the casts are gonna get bigger because this is what they're having to do in order to get it bigger, and it's making it harder for them. So hoping this helps at least a little bit in the cast department. On the high bar, we have octagon pullovers. Everyone's doing those because this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And it's, according to the lady I got it from, she said it's helped night and day within a matter of, you know, maybe a week or two with certain kids who can't get the motion of their hips over their head and back down over the bar without getting stuck. So hopeful, fingers crossed for that one. Then all of our side stations, all of these are new also. So we're gonna do tuck rock jump ropes, which is you're just doing tuck rocks and you're putting the jump rope. It's hard to explain, but it sounds self-explanatory. But I know the second I start trying to explain that, it's gonna sound way too complicated. And everyone's doing that one. Leg lifts to the different spots on the floor bar. It's pushed up against the mirror. Candlestick sit up to pike bottom lifts with a white PVC pipe bar. That's this bar. We have a whole bunch of these made out of PVC pipes. Those are the ones that have the ends missing, or like an end missing out of the 4. There is 2 of these, and then there also is a way longer one. Any of those is fine. So any of these 2 small ones, and then think 2 of those small ones put together, that's the long one. You're welcome to use any of those because they're the same height off the ground. So if for whatever reason I have my kids doing turning skills on bars and I'm using one of these, or I'm using both of them, you can still use the long one. or if I'm using the long one and someone's using another short one, we still have one more. But I'll always make sure that there's at least one of those three circling around somewhere that's not being used. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that they didn't specifically have to just use the one. We do have three of them. The Bosu ball one kind of shifts a little bit. So push-ups on the Bosu ball. Back here, we're using the flatter one just because it will be a lot easier and a lot less dangerous. They're going to do push-ups on it with their hands on the blue for beginner. You're going to flip it over for intermediate, and they're just going to hold a push-up shape with their hands on the flat side. And then advanced will do flat side up still, but they will actually do push-ups on the ball. So, we'll go over the side ones first. This one would be exactly what you think. It starts behind them as they sit up, it goes under, and as they go back, it goes this way. Okay, so it'll be folded in half, but as they sit up, it'll go over their head. As their butt rocks up, it'll go under their butt, and so on and so forth. If you'd like to go backwards, forwards, whatever they're feeling. If you do have taller kids, there are longer jump ropes, but that one might be a little hard if it is too long because they won't be able to get it up under them in time as they sit up, so on and so forth. Over here, these ones for beginner, you're just sitting here first and trying to lift your butt up. So they'll have a seat pretty much on top of the bar, and they're going to try and push and lift their butt up. When you go to intermediate and to advanced, you'll want it pretty much up under their butt before they start. If it's too far out this way, when they sit up, they may push it with their legs, and instead of being able to grab it, it may just slide out from underneath them, and we don't want that. So you can start it pretty much above their butt. I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but you'll keep your hands on the bar first. Your legs will go up in a candle. You'll try and come back down and lift your butt up like that. Over here, these ones obviously I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about, but push-ups on this side, intermediate, flip it over, and you're just holding a push-up on this side, and then advanced will do push-ups on this side also. So beginner's the only one with it on this side. Then over here. So when they do this one, their hands will start on the bar. They'll put both feet on and fall to their butt. A lot of kids say ow and ouch and oh my gosh, that hurts so much. But I'm here to tell you, I weigh like 10 times more than any of those kids. So do all of us. That did not hurt me in the slightest. So, and I didn't brace for impact. I didn't do nothing. If that didn't hurt me, it didn't hurt them. If it did, it's probably because they fell way too hard and they're trying to be funny and not focus and all of these other things. Or if you really are worried about it because they are like, it really does hurt, take their word for it. You can tell them to squeeze their belly. That'll brace their entire core for impact, and that'll help at least a little bit. Over here, this one, you will sit on top. This one's a little short, but you'll sit on top this way. And then I'm a little bit taller, so this farther back probably won't work for me unless I lower the bar. So if you have time, if your class is not full, even if it is full, if you do have time, you can play with the bar settings. So I'll go down probably this way. You'll want it anywhere from where their chest is, so like where their sternum is, anywhere to where their neck is. Mine will have to be a little lower. So from here, all that's happening is they sit on top. Very self-explanatory. And then from here, I'm going to flip my hands because this is weird for me. But from here, you put one foot on, one foot is straight. Hey, if I can fit like this, so can they. Their hands will be forward. Mine are backwards because my wrist and elbows don't bend that way. But they will pretty much just kick over. And it knocks over on the way down. So, very easy. and all I had to do was a quick lower the bar down one, and it was perfect for me. Mine was right here, so I would suggest maybe starting your classes at a chest height. If it needs to be a little higher, that's totally fine. I was able to also bend my leg and kick off all at the same time, and I'm way bigger than all of them. So please reiterate to them that all of this is possible. Maybe just may have to try a little bit harder. And then we'll set it back up, and they'll go again. Since everyone's doing that, that's the only demonstration. Here, their legs will go inside this part, so if they need to, they can stick legs in first, and then hop in. That would probably be easiest. Then from here, they will cast and come back to the bar, and try and make the bungee come as far away from the bar as possible. Woo. And then they have their actual skills on the bar over there. So trying to do pullovers, your back hip circle to candle, all that fun stuff. So, oh, that one kind of hurt. Okay, there's all of that. The pictures of the setups will go out tomorrow. But I believe that's it. So if anybody has any other questions on all of this stuff, I'd be happy to show you before you come in tomorrow. I can snag one of my kids, it's totally fine. But other than that, I think that's it for bars.